Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Many Parallels. We're your hosts, Trevor and Zach, and as you can see, we're accompanied by
the big dog.
The big dog, Danny P. of Sensor. DP, I like that. So to start this off with, can you give us a 90-second or so elevator pitch on who you are, what you do, and why anyone should even give a fuck?
I can give you maybe 20-second pitch on that.
All right.
Dan Miller-Perez. We're brothers, but just ignore that. I make music since I was like 12. I'm in a band called Sensor now. I am like half in a project called Lesser Demon, but I'm not sure if that's a thing anymore. And
I never heard
make music by myself. What else do I do?
I wish I knew.
I work and I go to school and I got a baby on the way. That's an elevator pitch on me.
All right.
That's my whole life.
It's your whole life. All right, that's the interview.
Let's do a bow on it. All right.
So you want to start the first question, or you want me to go with it? The first.
I'm super fidgety. I'm gonna constantly be moving this mic.
Oh yeah. Also, see how this goes. It's a roll of D20. See how this interview's gonna go. 17. So it's pretty.
It's gonna be a good interview.
It's gonna be a pretty good interview.
So I'll let you start off. Kick the question.
All right. So obviously, you sound your brother, but also anybody who follows Sensor on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, will see you guys have had a few lineup changes here and there. Originally, you dropped a demo and you were on vocals. Then you went back to guitar like you've been in your previous projects. Can you tell us about why all the shifting and turning of the lineup?
Okay, so we started online through this dude Sav, really good dude. Still mess with him, but he made a Facebook post and was like, "Yo, let's start an alternative grunge band." And I had just quit Haunter because they were on some fuck shit, but those are still my boys too. So I quit that band, and I was like, I'm down to start a new band. I was on my break in between semesters. Mm-hmm. So then he sent me a demo. I'm going to keep it G. It was dog shit. But I was like, I saw the potential there. So I was like, we can turn this into something cool. So then I wrote Sinking, which is out on streaming and shit. I recorded that demo, and we were just hyped. We're like, yeah, let's go. So we put it out right away, real quick, like too soon, honestly. I rushed in everything. We put it out in like a month before we had even practiced together.
You're just real ambitious.
I was super ambitious and super impatient. So like, I think we had the song recorded for maybe 2 weeks, and I was like, all right, good, I'm just okay, let's drop this shit. And then we finally got to practicing, and I was doing bass and singing, and he was playing guitar. But like he said, I'm regularly a guitar player. And bro was only on guitar for like 2 years, and I've been playing for like 14.
Right.
And he just couldn't play what I was writing. So I was like, okay, maybe you should sing, because he was doing backups. And I was like, just you sing, and then I'll play guitar. Mm-hmm. And then we brought in my best friend Enrique on bass, who was in all my previous bands.
Right.
And then, long story short, bro was ass at singing too.
Okay, so he wasn't really making the cut.
No, pretty much. He's good with the creative, and he was good with like the online
ideas
stuff, the ideas. And I still he hangs out with us still sometimes, and I'm like, bro, I'll pay you just to help with the social media shit for real.
Right.
Because he's good with all that. I mean, he wasn't like bad, but it just wasn't like
you're on a different frequency than him.
Exactly.
Sure. The way you kind of described it too, of like, he's only been playing guitar for 2 years. Well, you've been doing it for fucking 14. You just have more experience, so you expect a higher quality.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not even saying I'm a crazy shredder or anything.
Yeah,
it's just like, I personally have a set standard, and it wasn't meeting that, so I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And then even like his buddy Nate is in the band still, and he even agreed with us. And it got to a point where Saab was like, are you guys going to kick me out, or should I just leave? And I was like, you're asking that question, you probably know what's coming.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And he ended up leaving. Yeah. And then
it's mutual for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then when he left, I still didn't want to sing, because I hate writing lyrics. I'm gonna keep it real. I just don't like writing lyrics.
Okay, that was a future question.
For
sure.
Yeah. Well, then I'll leave that for now. I'll come back to that one. So we brought in my buddy Roberto, who is the singer from Lesser Demon.
Okay.
Fuck shit went down. I can elaborate on that a little bit. Kicked him out, and then we had a show, our first show coming up. We ended up having to cancel the show because there was no way we were going to be ready by then. We didn't even decide on a singer until we had studio dates June June 1st and 2nd were the studio dates.
Okay.
And we were still looking for a singer like up to 2 days before it. And we were like, should we cancel the studio dates? And I just bit the bullet and I was like, fuck it. I'll sing. I'll sing.
Okay.
Because I was super picky. Like, I wanted my vision.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that they kept suggesting, like, this isn't my vision. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it myself.
You had no other choice, pretty much.
Pretty much.
If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Exactly.
That's
So now I'm like the songwriter, the lyric writer, and I just got my homies playing. And, you know, I brought Zach and Kike in from Emerson Hall. I got them back doing the band stuff with me. That was another problem with the switching lineups is Sav brought me in to start the band, but then I resurrected my boys. So awakening us together, it was just like, oh, shit.
It turned into something else.
It completely, exactly. And it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's his fault, but he was, because he knew Enrique. So he was like, let's get Enrique to be in the band. If he would end up, because Sav's uncle owns Brick 3.
Oh.
So Kike worked at Brick 3 for 8 years. So that's how they knew each other.
What's that, like a venue?
It's a pizza place downtown by the Pfizer Forum. It's fire.
Yes.
But so he was like, let's bring Enrique into the band. Low key, if he wouldn't have done that, he'd probably be playing bass, and Kike just wouldn't even be in the band. Oh yeah, I keep saying Enrique and Kike interchangeably. That's the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
the double names thing is a common theme in your life.
Yes, yeah. He's got like 7 names.
Yeah. And I'd like to have, you know, the other members on, maybe have a whole band thing, but also, because, like, you know, they've been your friends since Hamilton Hall, which was
even before that. I've been friends with Zach since I was 12, I think. That's more than half of my life already.
Yeah, so like I know them, and I know Zach was also talking about one of the drums, so that was like good fit for all that shit.
Yeah.
But more or less, it's just like a chain effect with how everything panned out.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's like everything.
Yeah. Because like I've been doing music and been in different bands interchangeably since my first band in high school. That was with Zach and Kike.
Oh yeah.
But they kind of fell to the wayside and like stopped doing it.
Yeah, they weren't as in it.
So I resurrected them back into it. But literally every single band and I've been in along the way, I tried to bring Zach into it. Like, play drums with it, play drums.
You're my boy.
Yeah, drummers are always hard to find, and I'm like, you're my dude, and I know we get along, and we're usually on the same page. So
right.
Yeah.
You click well.
Exactly.
For sure.
You answered a couple of these questions, just kind of going through that answer.
I mean, if you could re-ask them, I can elaborate more or whatever. I try to keep it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you did a good job elaborating some of them. I mean, it's baseline starters, you know, how was Sensor formed?
So Sensor was essentially just formed through you discovering something on the internet.
From you.
Yeah, pretty much, because like, I guess they were just stoned and were like talking, like, let's start a band, Sensor. And then he posted online thinking nothing was going to become of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met Saab once before that through a mutual friend, Avery.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just had him on Facebook all these years, and he shares fire memes. So
Right.
literally, that was all it was. He had dank memes, and I was like, I've been saying for years that I wanted to start a band with new people because, like I was just saying, I always resort back to the same people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this seems cool. Start a band with new people, even though I ended up just with my same homies anyways. But
Yeah.
that was kind of what inspired that. Was like, dude had the dank memes,
Okay.
and he was cool. So
Right.
I was like, yeah.
I was going to actually ask if you knew Sop, so you met him once with like.
Avery came to visit me when I worked at Wingstop, and Sop was with them.
And that was it. You didn't
And-
really have any formal interactions with
I
them.
went on break and I ate with them, and like we chilled outside a little bit. I think we smoked, but that was it. I didn't talk to him other than that until I see him post on Facebook, and I think I just messaged him. People were. It's always like if you post online and are like, let's start a band, you'll have like 40 non-musicians commenting on it, like, oh, I have a bass. Do you play? Like, so that's kind of what it was. So I was like, I'm gonna be more legit and hit him in the DMs instead of on the comments.
Yeah.
And,
Actually make that effort.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it goes to show that like good shit can come from the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Sometimes just putting yourself out there can spark things. even
Right.
If you end up, not being in the band out there. But still.
Yeah.
It still sparks shit and
Yeah.
reaching out to. Yeah.
Then I guess to tail off of that, what originally got you into making music around like 12 years old?
Probably just like my older brothers. I mean, because we're all like 5.5, 6 years apart. So I just like my older brother was into like rock and punk and got me into like AFI and Blink-182 and
Sick.
stuff at a young age. And my first memory of wanting to be in a band was I had a poster of Blink on my wall. And then, like, my two best friends, Randy and Zach, a different Zach, so then we're up to 3 Zachs talking about this podcast. A different Zach, they were sleeping over. And I remember being like, we're going to be in a band when we grow up. And I, like, assigned us right then. Like, you're going to play drums, you're going to play the bass, I'm going to do guitar and sing. And, like, none of them really stuck to it. I remember Randy did end up playing drums in, like, elementary and middle school band. And he had an electronic kit just because I said that shit. But nothing ever became of those.
I don't even know where he played shit.
But that was kind of like the first idea of that happening for you. Oh, shit.
I've been all music, like, my whole life. Like, one of my earliest memories was turning into the car wash on Packard over here, and my mom asking me, like, do you know who this is? And I didn't know at the time, and then she told me it was Ozzy. And ever since then, I've just, like...
You're a fan?
I'm not a huge fan, but Ozzy's fire. But I'm not, like, digging through my library to put it on. But if it comes on, I'll post it.
It's like he's one of those greats that, you know, you can appreciate and see the value. It's not, you're not going out of your way.
I think the only band pre-90s that I go out of my way to listen to, like, frequently is Rush.
Okay, yeah. I folks with Rush.
Rush is fire. Yeah. I feel like...
Dude, they were doing shit, like... I've looked into them a little bit, man. Like, they were doing shit, like, early, too. Like late 60s, they were, like... Really
they were really young.
And they're doing super experimental shit.
Yeah, their first album, they had, like, a 20-minute song. It's like, how in the 60s or 70s did you record this and, like, keep track of what was what?
Yeah, and, like, thinking, like, that's gonna click with everybody.
Like, I mean, damn near. Because, like, in my first band, bro, how we wrote back in the day when I didn't know technology or anything, we literally play a part and then play it over and over and over and over again until we would just randomly improv a part after, and we'd be like, that's it, that's the next part. And then we would just do that. How the fuck you do that for a 20-minute song?
Musicianship is, like, on another level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking about Roberto, and I mean, I've seen him just sit there, and he literally looked up metal drum loop fucking hour or whatever. He was just
plays
playing guitar.
He's a beast on guitar.
Who's that?
Roberto? He was
he's like a friend of yours?
He's in the Lesser Demon project.
Okay.
So we kind of recently had falling out. He was in Sensor, and like I'll just go in on this now.
Yeah.
So Lesser Demon is our project that we started in 2020. We used to be in a heavy band before that.
Yeah.
And then he came over to record a demo one day, and he was just like, let's try something new. And I just made like a pop beat. So then we started making like alternative, like pop, electro. I do all the beats. He would do all the singing.
Different shit.
Yeah. We got like 5 or 6 songs out online. And we were real close. Like, this is one of my best friends. And then I had him join Sensor. And then he's just like unresponsive on the phone all the time. We had a photo shoot for Sensor one day. Bro just didn't show up and was ghosting my calls all day. And then like called me later and was like laughing about the situation. And that was like the final straw. So we kicked him out. And then he called me fucking insane and told me I had to cancel my show. And it kind of like came off like an egomaniac power trip to me.
For booting him.
He was like, you're not going to be able to do it with me. At least that's how I took it. I don't know if that's how he meant it, but that's how it came across.
I understand. To me. Like, it definitely comes across.
Was that over text? Or
that was all over text,
See, that's one thing with text, though. You don't know the fucking tone, but that's how I would take it.
So then we didn't talk since then. Then, like, this weekend, he randomly hit me up. I was like, hey, I'm going to call you. Then never called me. And I messaged him, and I'm like, what happened? And bro never read the message, but he's active on Instagram. So it's like, I know he saw it.
Yeah. He's probably, I mean, this is my thing, when people are just like unresponsive for no reason like that, it's just like, it's pretty obvious that they've got something going on with themselves. You gotta let them like find a little bit of peace. And
I do agree, but it's like, we've been in this project for like 4 years, and I'm Lesser Demon.
Yes.
So not 3 years now, because it started in 2020. But even before that, we were in a band, Jasper, and it's like,
you got history.
We got history, and it's like,
is this all for naught? Like, no, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's like, just take the 2 seconds to hit me up. We don't even got to talk on a personal like shit, but when I message you something about the band, like, you can quick respond. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, you gotta look at.
But no,
I feel like you gotta look at work or shit like it's work. You know, if you actually want to,
whatever.
Yeah, if you want to have your creative project go somewhere, you have to look at it like it's another fucking job. You have to take the time to be serious.
I was just explaining this to Courtney yesterday. I was telling her, because she was like, pretty much telling me, like, oh, if you think it's a waste of a friendship, why do you still want to be friends with him? And I'm like, no, he's like a great friend. He's one of my best friends. I don't look at that like the business side, like you just said, like my bands are a business, and if you're a bad bandmate, that doesn't make you a bad friend.
Exactly.
And like that's why I'm annoyed that he reached out to me and then didn't hit me back, because it's like, bro, that's still my boy in my eyes. Like he's still one of my fucking top best friends. I still cherish all our memories. Just because you got shit going on and you couldn't be responsive in the band doesn't mean that I hate you or something. Like
no, exactly. It's even like that when it's not some business type of thing too. Like if you need to create like that separation because you and somebody are not like connecting on whatever front, like that's okay, and there's no bad blood for that. But it's like somebody should still, be responsive to that individual, the history and everything with the
But sometimes people, they're going through their own shit and they gotta fight their own demons, and they might be pushing people out without realizing it's like, oh, I can actually use some help.
Exactly.
That's why it's like,
Well, you would think it makes more sense, like, just, like, obviously we're better together. Like, our minds, like, could do more together.
Yeah, especially...
creatively, whatever.
I'm surprised we haven't... I should have sent you some lesser demon shit, because, like, dude's a talented singer and shit, and they... good workflow when they're going together and shit, so that's why it does suck that,
I'm sure, I know I just said, but we're not talking and shit, I'm sure down the line we'll be back fine. We literally have songs in the bank ready to come out. I'm sure, because our girlfriends are still friends.
Oh, okay,
He lives far away. He lives in Joliet, so it's like 3 hours. So it's not like we're close to see each other all the time, but they would come up, say the weekend and shit. Our girlfriends still talk and text, and she was just telling me the other day, like, oh, we're making fun of us for not talking, and I'm like, bro, just
it's petty, like, almost, for sure,
But low key at the same time, I don't want to be the one to apologize because I don't feel like I did anything wrong.
I understand that for sure. Like
I mean,
you can't apologize if you truly didn't do anything.
Yeah, you don't need to apologize, but you can always just be like, yo, if you ever want to fuck, like, I'm always here. You're always my guy. That's what the other dude I was having a podcast with before. Yeah. Same shit, like, cut me off randomly and shit, and I still always see him. It's boy, because, we go fucking back.
Is he doing all right? I seen him recently.
I haven't
ignored me.
I have not seen him since I moved out of the folks.
Oh, really? I saw him. I was at the dollar store, and he was walking through the parking lot, and I was like, hey, yo! And he turned around. I don't know if he didn't recognize me, but we looked the fucking same, so he had to have recognized me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He randomly cut me off, and I texted him, never responded. I was like, well, I know you're going through shit. I'm always here. And I'd say do the same thing with dude if he's... you never know if he's battling some shit on his own. Motherfuckers don't like to talk about that shit, especially guys.
I know he's strong. I know he's like that. Like I said, we've been friends since 2017, and it's always been like weird responsiveness. It'll be like 1 month super hyped, and then 1 month nothing. And I try to get his ass in gear. Like when I first started Sensor and he wasn't involved, I could tell. He got super hyped about Lesser Demon because he didn't want me to like overshadow it. Because then he was super fucking responsive and on his shit. But then as I added him to Sensor and he was involved, it like slowly tapered down. And it's
I just wonder, like, it leaves me to wonder if it's just like personal life, like circumstances that are getting to him, or if it's like him not jiving with the creative flow, like he's not feeling the returns off of what he's doing.
I feel like it could be partially that, because we did get into a lot of little disagreements where in my eyes I would just brush it off the next day and we could move on, but I knew they were bigger deals to him because like when I was telling you about the photo shoot that he ghosted on, it's because that was for Sensor. But we got into the disagreement about Lesser Demon like 2 days prior, and he was still annoyed at me about that, and that's why he was ghosting us. But it's like that then the business thing comes back in where these are two separate entities. I get we're in both of them, but you can't let an annoyance about this one cross over into this one and fuck this band over.
Doesn't mentally make that distinction.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Some people don't.
He doesn't have that degree of like separation, compartmentalization, whatever it is. It's like
we were just disagreeing on about like a release date for a song. It was super minuscule to me, but I get where. Because it was like an acoustic rendition he did. So he was more passionate about it. Where me, I was like, this shit's outdated and I'm ready to move on. Yeah. And I was like, let's just drop it as like a bonus track with the next single. He wanted to just drop it on its own. And that's where
the conflict started.
Yeah. And I felt like that was little. But I mean, like I said, he had more passion on that one, so I could see where he would have taken that.
Right.
And then like I own up to that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you like maybe going forward, if a circumstance arose like this again, you could go the other way.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Or even like, bro could have just answered my call instead of ghosting me, and I could have said what I
Right.
just said to you guys in 2
Yeah.
seconds, and we could have
That
moved
part,
on.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ain't all for it too, it's like, it's not to throw you under the bus, but I remember being in like middle school trying to start bands, Zach, and you would always be like, as you were saying, one week you're like, oh hell yeah, let's fucking do it, and the next week you're just kind of absent, but now very responsive. You kind of learn that separation. I feel like you just kind of need to go through the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
But difference is he's not in high school anymore, so that's be disrespectful to bro.
No, that's the one boy I love.
Yeah, no, say he's cool. That's dude. Had a lot of real talks, bro.
Just like, you know, we only, like, I don't know, dude, but like, even if I don't know him, only through you guys telling me about him, like, I still hope for the best for the guy.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, yeah. Find your little piece that you need and
Oh, yeah.
get back to creating some dope shit, for sure. Like,
Exactly.
the most dope shit.
Because he's super artistic, super
You
good
said
at
this guy
guitar.
was playing for like an hour?
Dude can just shred, and he's got like his own really cool styles. So it's like, dude could be belting out R&B shit. He could be dropping post-hardcore. I tried to teach him like DAWs once to make a beat. Bro made a fire beat in like a day. It's like, dude, like
He's got that like intuitive.
he's got
that.
the toolkit,
right.
but he just needs to do it. I mean, me too, though. I just need to do it more than I do. But like, he's got it for sure.
I'm not gonna lie. One thing I feel like that kind of holds him back is he's got that just innate talent and skill, but I feel like he knows he has that, so he doesn't try as necessarily hard. At least that's the vibe I get.
I don't want to shit talk,
worked as perfect,
but I kind of agree. Because like when we were,
that's not a bad thing.
It makes
He's
sense.
talented as fuck.
It's like logical. Like if you have a natural knack for something, then you can like get comfortable in a certain type of way.
Yeah.
But we talk about it too. It's like Dunning-Kruger type thing. Well, I'm already good as fuck. Why do I need to do more shit? It's like you don't think you need to expand your shit because you're already so good at
exactly.
one.
That was like another one of the reasons we kicked him out of Sensor, because like I said, he lives 3 hours away, and he's already really good at singing. So he'd be like, "Well, I don't need to be at practice," but it's like, bro, we want a singer that's active at practice.
Yeah,
we want someone there. I don't want to play the instrumental at practice every time. I want to hear the whole fucking song.
Yeah. All right, so get it back to actual questions instead of just the going on that rabbit hole. I mean, we talked about some of your prior bands. Did any of the experience you garnered from those bands help in the creation or the overall direction of Sensor, where you guys are going, or things you already like you come across roadblocks like, oh, I've already experienced that band?
I wouldn't say so, because now I'm treating it a little differently. I'm treating it more like it's just a hobby rather than like I want to make it big. So I'd say if anything I learned along the way was just like my little production tips and how to make demos so I can write in my room instead of writing in a circle with dudes. This one, like, I don't know, because I said I'm writing everything. I change my mind every week what kind of music I want to make.
I was gonna ask that.
So
like, do you have different ideas for already for like types of music that you want to do with Sensor?
I have like 4 songs written that are kind of in the same vein.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, we'll put all these out so we can kind of build a fan base of a similar consensus.
Fuck around, put them on an EP.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then from there, I think the single route's kind of the way to go with like dropping music right now, because everybody just wants to hear a song. And then low key, like, bro, you record 12 songs, you could put an album out and people are gonna listen to the singles, or you can record 12 songs and put one out each month, and then people are gonna listen to the one each month and like actually take the time.
Yeah.
So
you know, it'd be really cool too if you were to go the single route and have some sort of, because I mean, there is people like me, I'm an album guy, I'd say, of maybe have similar artwork that
that's already the plan.
Are connected.
And then at the end,
put it all as an album.
That's already the
You
plan.
can do like I don't know, with digital stuff now too. There's a lot you can do.
That's why I was saying like these first 5 songs are gonna be like the same vein. They're gonna all be singles, and then we're gonna wrap it together into an EP when it's done.
Not that this is an appealing question at all, but like this type of music that you are making with Sensor, like, could you describe it with like genres or a merging of genres?
I could try. Okay, so the original, you're saying it was gonna be like shoegazy grunge stuff. But I don't really listen to that stuff. Okay. So that's not really what came out when I wrote it. It's almost just like alternative rock. My personal influences, even though I wouldn't say that we sound like this, are Fear Before and Oceana is what I want to write like, which both of the albums sound like they are recorded in a cave. And like, I don't know, it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I love Misfits and shit, but they sound like they recorded on some shitty ass mic.
No, like it's like really good recording.
Oh, it's
but
good,
it's
but
like
it's just,
intentionally
it's
bad.
like a different take on like the production.
Yeah.
You know? I
Yeah.
fuck with that. That's
so
cool.
it probably. I mean, right now we're just saying we're alternative rock, but like it's definitely gonna swing in more of a post-hardcore direction because I listen to mostly post-hardcore.
Yes, sir.
So when I was just like taking off, when we first started, and Sav was like, "We're gonna be grunge." I was just trying to help him bring his vision to life.
Mm-hmm.
His vision became my vision, and I took over. And it's just kind of like right now I'm writing all these similar songs, but I know from there I might just release whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
I don't know. We keep
And since you see it as a hobby, I assume it's gonna be just when you're done with those, you're just gonna fucking drop whatever. It's not gonna be some sort of gradual change or some shit.
Yeah,
Ease people
I
away.
don't care.
Right,
I
I
just
think
drop
that's like sick. Like if you could just like show your versatility like that, like whatever you want to call it, like unapologetically or whatever, without having to do a transitional type of thing.
Yeah,
Like that's fucking sick.
that's,
I mean,
that's
I
I just
why-
don't care.
Right.
Really, like
Because if you can do it, do it.
do it
That's
exactly.
it.
And you will to eventually garner at least some kind of following. Like look at fucking Bones. You know, he just drops whatever the fuck, whenever the fuck.
I
does
mean,
whatever the hell he wants.
Suicide Boys too. Ruby just dropped like a post-hardcore pop punk album. It's fucking gas,
He
bro.
went
I
back
did
to
not
his
know about it.
roots
I
and
need to
shit.
hear that.
It's called his artist name is Duck Boy.
Duck Boy.
Duck Boy. Dude, it's fire.
Vince would approve.
It sounds like fucking From First to Last. That's what it sounds. It's pretty dope.
I gotta check that
Yeah,
out.
definitely.
I just recently like caught up on like the newer stuff because I was kind of like off that. For a
I
minute.
fell off it too.
Yeah.
I stopped on what the fuck is the album? The album cover that's like purple.
Yeah.
That's like the one I stopped.
I
on.
stopped in like after over listening to their actual first official album.
Yeah, the
Whatever
one
it
with
was.
Carrollton and shit
Yeah.
on it. Oh, I Want to Die.
Oh,
in
with
New
the
Orleans.
red.
Yeah,
With
I got
the
that
red.
CD. I just ripped that on my computer.
Yeah, that shit was hard, bro. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
But I don't know. I always preferred old Scrim when he did the fucking goofy higher.
They just put out like some new EPs. I listened to it for a second. It kind of sounded like the old school, like the lower
Well, it's
productions.
weird, yeah. It's like on some of their newer stuff, like Ruby's got like this really low effect, and then Scrim's got like a high effect. So it's got this cool like duality. Like they've always had that, but it's like a accentuated.
I like the songs where they be hitting the la 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 la. What the fuck?
That mosh pit
He
shit.
hit that shit.
Yeah.
How do we go from my genres to Suicide Boys?
Shit.
Because
Genres.
I could explain this if you really need me to.
No, it's all good. It's
Trevor's
So-
got a good short-term memory.
I don't actually, so I'm surprised I remember
You can.
that.
Sometimes you like I'll get lost too, and you're like,
Sometimes I'm really
I
good
don't
at
know,
summarizing.
guys.
Other times I don't know what the fuck I said it after it left my mouth.
right.
So,
Mysteries, bro.
yeah. So
So Dan, tell us about the most memorable show that you've ever played in your life.
sold out at the Miramar.
Oh.
It was of Glacier's final show, and I just joined Heavy Heart. It was my second show with them. They were like a pre-existing local band, but
I remember when you were in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So both of their guitarists either left or got kicked out or something, and then my buddy Charlie, who was in Emerson Hall with me, joined, and then he stole me from Emerson Hall too, and then we went to Heavy Heart, and that shit was epic. Cause I grew up going to shows at the Miramar, and in Emerson Hall, we couldn't play there because Zach got his nose broken by a crowd surfer, and his dad sued the venue, so they
What?
would not let us play
What?
there because he had to pay a bunch for surgery.
Yeah.
I get it, but like,
That's yeah.
yeah, so they wouldn't let us play there. So then I got into Heavy Heart.
Yeah.
It is petty as fuck. I got into Heavy Heart, and they let us play, obviously, because Zach was in the band and they didn't know shit.
Mhm.
And then sold out show was huge. It was fucking awesome. So I'm like smoking weed in the green room. It was like
Oh,
my
yeah.
first big experience. Like I played at the rave and shit before that, but still the Miramar.
I
was
remember
just
hearing
like,
about that, and I thought that's what you were gonna say. So I didn't even know.
no, the rave was dope, but like the Miramar, just because I went there so much growing up for local shows, it was like super memorable.
It's like,
And that was the first time I had seen Zach since I left Emerson Hall, and he was like front row, and we weren't on really talking terms, and it was super awkward because I thought he like hated me, but then we like hugged and like teared up after, and it was like super fucking. It was
How
great.
wholesome.
Yeah, yeah. That was definitely my most memorable show.
Yeah, that's like some milestone shit.
For real,
sure.
for real.
So, I mean, on the opposite of that, what's the most memorable show in a negative way?
I got that right away. Didn't even have to think about it. Was in 11th Hour on set screaming for them because their singer Brad left. I did one tour with them, and we played this fucking dive bar in Flint, Michigan. And they were letting us smoke there and giving us drink tokens. We're playing with butt rock ass dad, shittiest local bands, dude. And there was nobody there but the biker type redneck ass people. They were just not into our music at all.
They didn't get it.
They did not get it. But they were letting us smoke weed there, so that was cool.
Right.
And then our drummer, I think he was 19 or 20, bro. They were feeding this kid drink tokens. They didn't even ID us. No. He just spewed everywhere, right in front of the door in the parking lot. So you had to walk through this kid's puke to get in. As soon as that happened, we just packed up our shit and left.
Wow.
The fucking bar was terrible. It was just awful show.
You drink any of the tap water there?
No. I was drinking gin and tonics all night. I was 21 already, so I could hold my...
Yeah.
All right, so next question. This is kind of a weird one. Just whatever you think, the way it hits you. What do you think about music basically being magic? Do you agree that it's magic, or do you not really think that deeply about it, or are you basically a mage?
I mean, I'll take it. I'm a wizard.
Right. Exactly.
No, I think
warlock.
I mean, it's for sure because it can affect moods and stuff.
Right.
I saw some video recently too with the vibrations on some sand, and it was making it fucking make cool shapes and shit. And I'm or it was on water, and it's we're 75% water.
Right.
Imagine what music's doing
exactly.
internally.
Yeah.
I don't say it's necessarily magic. I'm more of a scientific guy,
Okay.
but it's definitely doing something
Right. It's the way I look at it is it's basically frequency programming that you're willingly giving yourself to.
Yeah.
And then it invokes a feeling in you.
I agree.
Invoking is magician shit.
And I feel certain frequencies probably hit people different, and that kind of turns into why you like what you like.
Yeah.
Because your brain chemistry reacts to the frequencies differently.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, just because you use magic, would you agree that magic is just science that you can't explain?
I think magic is damn near the unexplainable type of thing.
That's one interpretation I've heard of magic. It's just science you can't yet explain because you're correct.
Well, what would you say is magic?
Exactly.
I'm super
skeptical
on everything that doesn't have valid proof. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in Yeah. So
I like to think that it's probable. That's what I always lean towards. It's not impossible. But
it depends.
I'm not gonna. Somebody telling me a ghost story, I'm not gonna be you fucking moron. That's not real.
Not even just.
I'll take their word for it. If you saw it, I believe you. But me personally, I never saw shit.
Right.
But I mean, I get the whole be respectful and shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I hear what they're saying. It could be true. It could be a ghost, or it's their mind playing trick on them. Your mind.
That's what I think. I think it's usually your mind.
You can't say for certain, and that's where I am.
Yeah.
So, so talking about music and making you feel something. I'm sure you're familiar with the what the fuck were those called? Genius videos and shit.
Yeah.
Where they explain lyrics. What's your thoughts on sharing the meaning of lyrics? You think
I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. I got bad fucking ADHD.
Do you believe, it should be up to the listener's interpretation and how they feel that sonic vibration magic in their heart? Or do you think it's important for you to tell the listener, this is what I mean?
Or do they have to have meaning at all?
They don't have to have meaning at all.
Yeah, they don't.
But if they do, personally, I did want to make a rip-off Genius real TikTok kind of thing and use a green screen and put the yellow background behind me and just explain Snake Charmer. But I do think when I'm writing songs, I was saying earlier, I hate writing lyrics, but when I do try to keep them a little more vague so that you can apply it to whatever you want, because that's how people form a connection with the song. If I'm no, you're an idiot, this song's about that, you can't connect it to what you want, then why are you going to listen to it?
There's it's interesting because there's certain types of music that maybe could I don't know, people would say is incites violence or incites this or calls for this.
Yeah.
But clearly that a lot of times that's not what the artist intended for it. So maybe in a situation like that, it might be more necessary to get the meaning across.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying with leaving it more open-ended or ambiguous. It's it works for a broader scope of people that way.
I think, it definitely depends on like genre too. Because when you say about like inciting violence, like I listen to a bunch of rap that's talking shit. I'm not going and listening to that. Me personally, I don't even really care about the lyrics half the time as long as they're not like super corny.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like they almost just have to be fitting.
Yes.
Like serving the song. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go about writing lyrics, do you try to impart a message, or do you try to leave, like, obviously you have a message when you're writing a song. Do you try to convey that very fluidly, or do you try to leave it vague so that people can interpret it and relate it to their own lives, however it goes?
Usually when I'm writing lyrics, I come up with what I want the song to be about, so I just get a theme, and then I write it. I try to keep it vague, but when I was trying to keep it vague, I wasn't even thinking like for the listeners. I was thinking because I don't want the people I'm talking about to know I'm talking about them.
Right. That's fair. Don't want to be dropping the fucking blatant diss track on someone.
Exactly.
Well, then that comes to the next question of the song Snake Charmer's lyrics. They seem a bit pointed. Can you speak on who the song is about, what kind of the song's creation, or you try not to start beef?
I don't give a fuck. So,
Even though you just
originally, when I first started writing the lyrics, this was before Roberto was the singer, and I used a lot of the same lyrics, and it was kind of pointed at an old friend, Anthony, who's like one of my best friends back in the day, but now you hang out with him, and it's like babysitting, and I just kind of feel like anytime you hit me up, it's like, yo, make me a beat or record my music, not like, let's fucking hang out.
Yeah,
so
or teach me the skill so that I can eventually do it. Yeah.
And then when he started reaching out to people and like doing his rap shit, anytime he talks to me, it's to like rub it in my face.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of salty about that. And then some of the lyrics are definitely pointed at Roberto because I was salty at the time, but like I love him still.
It gave a little inspiration for lyrics.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, fucking, when you're writing lyrics, I feel like when you're writing music at all, I don't know if you speak on that, but when I used to make music, writing lyrics, it's like a form of venting. It's a form of getting out what's in your head. Would you say the same with guitar in just a different respect, or is that more of a...
That's an interesting thing. Like, where do you get your, I guess, like, playing from, or who are your guitar influences?
My guitar influences, I sound nothing like, because I'm not that good, but Thomas Eric from the Fall of Troy is like one of my favorite guitarists. I always say, because that's always a hard question for me. It's like, when I write a song, people, what does this sound like? And I always just tell them, I just make music.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. Like, there's like, I can come up with like some riffs that like maybe sound like some simple like punk shit that this band or this band will come up with, but that could be like 100 bands because of the type of music.
Exactly.
Or like, if I try to go just make some spontaneous shit, it might not sound like my main influences. So
anytime I've been in a band and I'm like, we're gonna sound like this, we sound nothing like that.
out like this.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's with a lot of bands. It'll be like, I've watched interviews with a lot of different like fucking singers. Like, oh yeah, our main influence are this, and this. And you're like, really?
It sounds nothing like this. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't show through, and sometimes it can. It's interesting.
It depends on how
you express yourself.
how they influence you exactly. I feel like, because you could be influenced by an artist and be like, oh, they just influenced me to want to make music in general because I like music, not to make what they make. Or
I feel like whatever comes out, I just grab my guitar and start playing. Whatever comes out is like an amalgamation of fucking everything I've liked ever. Yeah. So there's probably like, a little like AFI in there, but there's also probably a little like Owl City and like a little Cradle of Filth.
Right.
Some Never Shout Never in there, and then like randomly Mac Miller influence. Like,
right.
It's all over the board.
So how do you feel about comparing? Because I know some artists don't like doing it because it's like, oh, we're make original shit, or as you were saying, just kind of, it is what it is. Or for the sake of getting the listener, sometimes we're like, oh yeah, we kind of sound like this and this.
I grew up on the CD generation, going to Walmart and picking up a CD because the cover art's cool, and you look at it, it says, for fans of this, that, and that. And even if they sounded nothing like that band, I'm going to get the fucking CD because of that. So
you are game for that.
Yeah, like when we were doing Lesser Demon, whenever we'd share it, because it sounds metal, people know me for metal, I'd always make sure to put like, for fans of 21 Pilots, Billie Eilish, and like that vibe, because...
Yeah, the name Lesser Demon and then your past history very...
makes it seem like it'd be a metalcore band or something, but it's not. I stole the name from RuneScape.
I feel that though. So like you're a proponent for exposure, essentially, or like finding more music.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, with modern day shit, do you feel like the artwork is still an important part of music? Because now it's not like people go and they look at CD covers. It's like they kind of find shit online, however they do. Do you think artwork is still as important as it was, like album art?
Oh yeah, definitely. In the streaming era, I mean, you're scrolling your phone, seeing a bunch of album covers. If I see one that sticks out, I'm definitely more likely. Or if you see one that looks like garbage, you're like, they did not put any effort into this. Like,
and they probably didn't need another music done to do that thing.
Or even like, you don't even have to have a theme back to back, but just keep it at like certain quality. Like when I go on the Lesser Demon Instagram, or not Instagram, our streaming shit, I think our covers look AIDS next to each other. Like they just do not flow good with one another. I think that's
they're like
super
all
important.
individual ideas.
Yeah, because they're all different singles and they're not meant to be wrapped into an EP. So it's like they can all have their own vibe, but I'm all about the aesthetics, and I just think they kind of look like shit all together in a spot.
Like, as in, each one looks like shit, or when they come together.
Because
so
they're all like different colors and like different art styles and like very drastic.
Yeah, that's why DGD, they got their own kind of artists, and something like that would be kind of clutch. But then there is some bands where their album art varies wildly,
but like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like Bless the Fall, their album covers are all pretty different, but somehow they all look nice when they're together. I don't know what the
probably just their
color
very professionally.
I think it might be the color. Like some of our albums have like too much color in them, and I've done professionally, because I do all our art. Like we have had other people draw. We've commissioned drawings, but like I still go and edit them together and make it a cover. So yeah.
I mean, maybe one thing we talked about it on our last episode. Are you familiar with the concept of KISS? When it comes to like, not the band, but like the concept of like creating shit or whatever. Like, keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, I like
that. Yeah, very simple thing to remember it. I learned it in terms of like character creation, but I feel like it's applicable to album art too, because I don't listen to Bless the Fall like that, but the few album art that I can think of from them, kind of simplistic, but still, it has all that it needs, no more, no less, and that's kind of what you need to do. Whereas a lot of the time when you're approaching, it's like, oh, this is cool, and this kind of grabs the eye. You do too much, and then you have fucking Michael Bay Transformers.
I think another one of the Lesser Demon problems is we just like hold it off to the last second, and I'll just use a random ass picture and like do a little bit of graphic design to it, and like that's the cover now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did when I was rapping. It was either, for a while, it was shit I made literally using Snapchat and just shit from that, and then I got like a thing on my phone and just used stock images for the most part.
Speaking on the KISS thing, one of my favorite quotes of all time, Kid Cudi. The ones who make it complicated never get congratulated. And I feel like that wraps into it.
Yeah, and that's like applicable across life too. Like
yeah,
for sure. It's like I don't know exactly. Like I don't know like fucking tabs or nothing, but like it sounds like to me in Snake Charmer, like there's only like a handful.
It's one part that literally like things come and things go, but it's the same thing the whole time.
And it's catchy.
I know, and that's like how pop songs work. So, I'm used to writing metal, so I'm like, well, you need to have 75 riffs in the fucking song and a breakdown.
And I'm expecting like a breakdown, a solo, or something to come in, and then but I'm pleasantly surprised with the way it carries me through.
And it makes it stuck in your fucking house.
I watch entirely too much Finn McKenzie, and he's always talking about like you got he's always talking about how you like need to have a pop sensibility, and he's not wrong. Like that's what's catchy.
I'm big on that for sure.
So I was like not scared, but like thinking I didn't do enough for this song when we were going to the studio. And it was maybe 2 days before. It was Finn McKenzie interviewing Vic Fuentes from Pierce the Veil. And he was saying, I haven't even listened to their new album yet, but he was saying on their new album, they wrote a song that's exactly that one part, and it adds and loses things. And he's like, I've been wanting to do that since the beginning. And they're all crazy all over. That's one of my favorite bands. So I'm like, hearing him say that he's cool with doing that, I'm like, I got no problems.
Yeah,
I remember you always saying that too, and hearing that like from videos, but predominantly from you back when you were doing rap shit, you were making beats all the time. You would always kind of say that, you want to keep it alive, but you kind of keep the core melody, the heart of it alive. Yeah. You keep that heart and you add things around it, you build upon it, take away, so you keep it moving, you keep it dynamic. But
I mean, that's kind of every Lesser Demon song too. I just make a giant loop with like 48 instruments, and then I'll like stretch them out where they come and go, and some things stay.
I like that. Yeah.
So I mean, I have this question for you to say, but I'm gonna just add
go ahead.
That. So, because we kind of touched on it a bit, because I want to elaborate on how it's just phrased. So, overall question: your opinion on current rock music,
Oh, yeah.
but predominantly guitar-driven music. I know Finn talks about it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, you're in the scene. You know, people fucking they write music for other guitar players type shit. And it's been going down.
Salad, fucking jerk off, fucking fest. Yeah.
Do you think there's room left for innovation and to make any sort of revival with the rock genre being popular? Or do you think it's gonna
Is it the type of thing where, like, you know, everything has a lifespan, all like genres have their lifespan, and like even though people are still listening to everything, it's like
it's a dying breed?
yes,
Peaks are past, I feel like, on a lot of the shit. Like metalcore, that shit peaked in 2014. Everything that's come out since then, for the most part, sucks, sounds the same. I don't want to hear the same album. Like T-Pain said, I'm always watching podcasts and trying to, like, get my knowledge up there. T-Pain said, I don't know which artists he used already, but I'll use my own example. We already got the Color Morale. We don't need the Color Morale again, or we already got Architects. I don't need 75 fucking Architects.
I put it like this, with like, I always thought about this with rap, but I realized it translates into any genre. Like, we don't need, like, when it gets to the point where people are like sons of sons of sons of sons of people, like,
I don't need 45 Futures and 38 Young Thugs.
Yes.
I like Young Thug. I don't need 47 Young Thug clones.
Exactly.
Even like I've been like that since I was younger. Like when pop punk started making its resurgence in like 2014, and there was all those bands that pretty much sounded the same.
Yeah.
I got into Neck Deep, and that was good enough for me. I heard any of the other bands, I just wanted to listen to Neck Deep because they sound the fucking same. So it did nothing for me.
Neck Deep above Knuckle Puck.
Neck Deep
above all of them.
above all of them.
Yeah.
Story So Far, I've gotten into since then, and I love Story So Far now also. But like, I didn't really get into any of those other bands. They actually just dropped a new song.
It's interesting, like I don't know. I always looked at it like it was cool to listen to the Story So Far, like kind of going through school and shit, like from California, and then all the way from like the UK, what Neck Deep was doing. You know, it's like
see that's
that's why I like
difference.
Real Friends a lot too, because they're from Illinois, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And
they are.
also, I could relate more to the shit because I feel like they're a bit more sad boy, and I thought that's what I wanted as a teenager, but I feel like that's what was honestly worse for me long term. Neck Deep's a lot more optimistic. I feel like with a lot of their shit.
Especially come Life's Not Out to Get You.
That's my album. It's like
why I got this tattooed on
I
me.
got two
So to remind myself.
Tatted,
Life's not out to get you. A constant reminder.
That album's fucking goated.
Yeah.
After that, I didn't really listen to it.
But
I like It in Bloom though, and the song with the dude from Architects.
I like the album after what's the Peace and the Panic.
Yeah,
I like
you told me to check it out.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, I heard single, and I think it was just because Burnt Out on Neck Deep.
Yeah.
But Peace and the Panic, I think, is a really good album, and it is different from the fucking style of.
I just don't like boring shit.
I don't think it's boring. I think their new album is kind of. I feel like they forgot how to write hooks and chords.
No, I wasn't saying about that. I'm moving on to the next thing. But like, I just don't like all music that sounds the same, or like maybe even like I'll go back to things. But when 15 albums came out in the same year, that you're clearly ripping something off. Maybe it comes on shuffle on Apple Music. I'm like, I fuck with this. I'm not gonna save it or ever go back and listen to it again.
I mean, that's kind of what you said. Oh, the peak of metalcore's come already. But I mean, the question of room left for innovation, like rock as an overall genre, do you think it'll have another peak ever? Because sure, this kind of version of it is obviously overdone. It's dying. But do you think people can take something from this album and take something from this place and make something new? And do you think that it's going to happen? Or do you think it's going to die off?
I don't think it's going to die off, but I think people are just going to keep making the stuff that's off. I mean, I can't predict the future, but I don't know what else could be done in the genre with guitars and drums and bass.
Agreed. Well, like, it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got to wait for
There's
that one
so
person.
much already. They got country's got the same instruments, and you got
the
classic rock, you got the math rock, you got doom, you got death metal, you got whatever. There's all.
It's so niche at this point.
Yeah.
It's like
every riff's been written, every genre.
That's my question.
Do you think it's already diversified
as
far as the web will go, type shit? Do you think the web's already as stretched thin as it will? Or that it'll go a little thinner, but not.
I think that rock people need to embrace not just guitar music, because there's a lot of cool shit that's rock or like alternative-esque. I feel like it came like, some people cut through, like 21 Pilots. they make it on rock stations, and they're not like a band with guitars,
No.
and they have like rapping and electronic, and they're fucking awesome and really good artists. And I feel like
there's more room for that.
yeah, like I feel like
What do you
these
think?
neckbeard fucking metalhead fucks are like, that's not real rock because they don't have a guitar. Like, suck it, big
You always
dude.
got the gatekeeper mentality. Yeah, like
And that's people are like, oh, rock music's dying, but then it's like you're literally saying that with one breath, telling people, oh, this ain't rock, you're not rock or whatever.
Yeah.
So people like Smart Death or Lil Lotus
Or like
shit, it's
MGK.
or MGK
Because he was a rapper.
okay,
The failed rapper.
don't get me wrong. I don't like his
I don't
shit
either.
at all.
I don't
But
either.
he did something good for
And-
rock as a
Yes.
whole.
He's the biggest rock star right now. Like,
right.
for real. I don't give a shit. His music is boring. I had Blink-182 already.
Bro,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
mean,
if you
but
said this.
Some
but
people
he-
just didn't.
let me say, like, you said this to me, and I didn't even think about it like this, but it's a perfect way of putting it. His shit sounds like AI generated, like modern
Yeah.
Blink songs.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
I was hyped because like the first couple singles are fucking good. Like I like the song "Concert for Aliens" and like "Bloody Valentine"
that's a
or
good
whatever.
song.
They were
a couple of
good.
them, yeah.
And then the album came out, and I was just like, "This is fucking boring."
I believe that these are all written on a silver platter for bro.
Oh, yeah,
and like,
But-
here, just you put your voice to it.
But it sucks that people want to gatekeep that shit because it's bringing more ears to rock music. It's bringing more
Yeah.
interest to it.
Yes.
More kids that
Or like,
oh, I want to write this kind of stuff.
hell yeah, it's like "King for a Day" from Pierce the Veil with Colin Quinn is like trending on TikTok or
Yes,
whatever.
there's always like a.
I was out grocery shopping at Aldi. I see like a 10-year-old wearing a Pierce the Veil shirt. That's badass. I was like,
Yeah,
this
that's
kid's
what the fuck?
fire. And I'm like, people are hating on that. Like, dude,
Yeah.
found it from fucking TikTok. It's like, where did you find it, bro? Because I found my music from MySpace, most
Right.
of it, and that was just the TikTok of the time. Like all these old heads, like get in their mind, like I'm cooler because I found it first. Like. I don't know about you guys, but I drive around in my car and I'll be listening to shit and I'm like 10 years down the line, I'm making my kid like this shit. If you want your kid to like this shit, why don't you want all kids to like this shit?
Right.
I don't know.
And why wouldn't you want new art? Even if you don't like MGK, like, okay, as I said, it's kind of generic, whatever the fuck.
I like his
But-
rap stuff better than I
Yeah,
like.
me too.
Yeah.
But okay, talking about he's bringing more people to punk, more kids that are like, oh, I want to play. You're gonna get more people wanting to write that kind of shit, and you
Yeah.
will obviously get a bunch of generic shit. But then you will have the few innovators that
Yeah.
got interested because of MGK, and then they make actual good.
Well,
you know,
dude,
shit
even on
again.
YouTube, like I follow like a handful of like guitar channels or whatever, like,
Mhm.
and even on there, like you see like the spike in views from like 2018 to now.
Yeah.
like, there's
Guitar
been a
stuff's getting
resurgence a
popular
little
again.
bit. Yeah, it's just like what will come from this is gonna be interesting.
A weird problem. It's not really a problem, but like
Mhm.
being into underground music too and knowing genres that people don't know is when something like makes a resurgence and like people are like, oh, this is huge, like hyperpop. Like, yeah, it's got its own thing and it's big. To me, I listen to that shit. That sounds like Broken Side, and Dot Curve, and like
Yeah.
all the crunk
You've
core
heard of that
kind
shit.
of stuff, like Nicosaur and all that shit from like
And-
the MySpace
And
days.
I think that's yeah.
But it's a generation who didn't know that.
Exactly.
But, but yeah, and like okay, the people that are like, oh my god, how do I put this, bro? This is like profound.
Are
because
we in
it's-
cycles?
Yes.
Yes.
Like because the people that don't know that are just like the people like 100 Gex or whoever that are making that hyperpop shit are your generation people
Yeah.
that are like they did know that.
They
shit,
did, exactly,
And now
yeah.
they're making.
But now they're
new
showing the
shit.
kids who don't know.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
like setting a new
You're
bar.
keeping it alive, and they're not
That's just
like,
crazy.
oh,
It's
you
cool.
don't know my.
I mean, they're definitely different, but I could see like
You know what I'm saying, though? Yeah.
There's some inspiration.
I just
I
brought
don't-
up that
I don't
comparison.
fucking
You know what
know.
comparison I fucking hated when I got into Suicide Boys? People would say they sound like Broken Side. They sound nothing like Broken Side.
I've never.
I've never heard that.
I
People
heard
say it to me
no.
all the
I
time.
mean, there's like a million videos about how they like, and they got sued, 3-6 Mafia. And
Yeah.
all that. Like, I mean, yes, like they literally made like a dark 3-6 Mafia
Yeah,
type of
it's
modern
Memphis
rap
rap.
music.
But
Yeah.
they also kind of wore their influences on their sleeve, which, you know,
Mm-hmm.
again, we talked about last episode a lot with like Star Wars. George Lucas wore his influence. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
With like, these are who inspires me, and you will eventually make something of your own because there's nothing new under the
Well,
sun.
this is also what I think
And-
too, that like you can't replicate something even if you want to. Like if I want to make
Yeah.
censor like music you're making, I can't
You
even if
could,
I
yeah.
try.
Mhm.
Like it's
It could be similar, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily like
but and then
invoke
that's the
same
thing. If
feeling.
it's too blatantly similar, then it's like not respectable.
Mhm.
So like you have to walk that line like correctly or whatever.
It's like you have to. I'm influenced by this, not I'm trying to replicate.
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
There's a difference in
Might as
trying-
well just be a cover band or whatever at
Exactly.
that point. Yeah.
like
Oh, opinion on Greta Van Fleet.
The Led Zeppelin cover band. I don't know. There's always going to be these 8th grade kids with their Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin shirts, and that's who those dudes
that's
are.
Big Champion. That.
Yeah. That's not my thing.
Yeah, it's just funny too how they say like they're not influenced. That's not one of their big influences.
They say that?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Bruh, they were
like on like an interview and shit, like radio interview. They're like, no, we're more influenced by like other bands from that era. I forget who they named, and I'm like, it's so clear. Like it's undeniable. But yeah, I don't know. I was just like interested.
That's funny.
If you like them or
So
not.
they listen to Led Zeppelin and they're like, all right, we're gonna do this, and then they
Denounce any like.
I mean, I'm sure if I heard it in the background, I would just think it was Led Zeppelin, and I'd probably vibe it. That's another one. Like I like Led Zeppelin. I'm not gonna go sit there and I'm not looking it up really, unless I randomly get a song in my head. And
what I just like explained with like they didn't innovate enough, so it's like just like that shit.
Yeah,
it's not respectable.
I think like I don't know, innovation is key. All of my favorite bands like transition from album to album.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's also
him didn't really transition. But AFI from first to last, and Mac Miller, like they all grew their artistry and didn't just fall into a pattern. That's the big thing in metalcore. They'll get to their second or third album and they like hit their peak formula and they're like, fuck it, let's make 7 more albums of the same bullshit. Like,
so I feel like they get stuck in that.
I feel like that might be one thing. Maybe metal, the writing process, people just look at it a bit too formulaic. Because when you're making something like rap, it's easier to be a bit more freeform. I mean, obviously there is some metal bands, but I feel like it could show more that if it's from the heart and it's genuinely what you love doing, well, you as a person are going to grow and you are going to change. And your music the music you make is going to grow alongside you then because of that. So I feel like it's just more genuine expression, and that's why these artists are better as well.
I feel like rap's fucked right now because everybody wants to be a rapper and everybody wants to be a producer and everybody just wants to trend, so they copy all the same thing and then they all sound the same and it's like super oversaturated and there's like no creativity.
I get like
there is creativity.
If there is, they're drowned out by the saturated fucking bullshit.
Oh yeah, dude, I was just watching like this. There's a channel called Overcast. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's like a small channel, but they do like. I think their work is on par with like Lyrical Lemonade, if you know that shit. Yeah. So like it's like high standard shit, but like there's artists on there that make like incredible music, but they get like, oh my god, like 6,000 views, 10,000 views, and that's just the way it fucking is.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that good shit never gets
out there because everybody wants to hear 45 different Lil Babies or fucking whoever. Lil Baby's fired.
Right, but like
all the copies,
clones of clones of clones. Yes, we don't.
Lil Uzi was cool. Then he started copying Playboy Cardi. Playboy Cardi's, I like his fucking whatever, that new weird shit. I think that's unique and that shit's dope. But now people are copying that and it's fucking lame. Tell me why, I don't know if you guys know Mario Judah. He did the whole lot of red because Playboy Cardi wouldn't drop his to the fake one. And low key, I like that better than the actual Playboy Cardi shit.
No, yeah, he's crazy for that. Yeah. But, I don't know, bro. Like, I guess that. What were we talking? The state of music, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Current state, where it's going.
Yeah, so like, if you look at like guitar as a tool as it is, then it's like, is there still room left to incorporate the tool? There's always going to be room left to incorporate with all the effects and filters and everything you can put on these things, bro. Yes, but like, how it will it reflect the origins or like the roots of rock? Maybe not. Like it might literally evolve so far away from it where it doesn't reflect, you're not going to.
But does it need to?
No, it doesn't necessarily need to.
Because as I was saying earlier, there's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. You cannot do anything original. It's already fucking been done. But you can take things that have been done, combine them, and formulate them in a way so that it is refreshing, it is new, and it is different while still the parts that make it up are not.
I feel like genres, I don't know, this is just a random thought that came to me right now. I feel like they have like a 40-year shelf life or something. Like, I mean, classical music, I don't know how the fuck long Beethoven and Bach were around, but people aren't really, I mean, maybe there's people writing shit like that, but it doesn't come out into the mainstream. It's in movies. That's maybe it. Rock music, I feel like that's kind of not evolving.
60s to like the 90s is when electronic shit started to become relevant.
Yeah.
So, and then rap was like.
I feel like rap's kind of like hitting its peak now. Like, what more innovation is going to go past rap? And that's why I feel like the hyper pop is coming in and other more electronic shit's taking the wave. and then that's gonna get to a point, and then maybe we'll go on a cycle and we'll revert.
So,
people want to hear classical
Yeah,
music
I'm
again.
saying,
I don't know.
Maybe rap's following the same or a similar trajectory to rock.
Yes.
Because rock, people thought it kind of hit its peak, and then there's like the glam metal days, which I would say was like 2018 rap type shit, Lil Pump, all that kind of shit.
Like the SoundCloud era is like equivalent to the glam
Because
metal.
people were like, oh, there's nothing new. And then you kind of had the mixing of shit with like new metal, and then eventually different shit did come around after it kind of fizzled down for a bit. People, weren't as interested.
Like we're in a reiteration of like how like the 90s were. That's what I think.
Like in the grunge era.
You even see it with all the like stuff that they're like promoting, like reboots of this. And, Like, bro, we're literally going through this like weird like 90s nostalgia, like not nostalgia. It's
I just watched the video yesterday. They were talking about
it's like a 30-year cycle thing.
I forget the term they use, but like nostalgia marketing, pretty much. Like that's what they were talking about, the whole like the emo resurgence and the elder emo. That shit's corny as fuck. I love all that stuff, but literally like. You're paying too much money for this shit because of the nostalgia, literally.
Right. It's like that one festival that they did. What's that shit called?
When We Were Young.
Yeah.
That's what they were talking about in that. And like now they're doing the Emo's Not Dead cruise.
Oh, they're doing that?
Get fucked. I'm going to chill at the crib and listen to the music. I'm not spending $1,000 to go on a cruise. I don't give a fuck. I could have paid $40 and gone to Warped Tour and seen all these bands back in the day. Bring that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no offense, but they're not even like in their prime form anymore.
Exactly. They're like trying, because millennials are like in their 30s and shit now, so they're like, oh, you like this music when you're a teenager, you'll shell out $1,000 for a whole week.
Now you work. Now you got
that. I just don't go to shows anymore. For the most part,
like,
I go to local shows and wrestling shows because they're fucking cheaper.
Not even just music, dude. Nostalgia bait has been too prevalent in our society. It's ruined the fucking sequel trilogy. Like, I feel like that had some potential, and I understand for the first one, but they did too much shit, and then somehow Palpatine returned. Oh, people like Palpatine.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
Like, okay, I get it. Oh, it's cool. You need to stop living with the nostalgia thing. And I get, like, looking back, if you want to talk from a screenwriting perspective, The Last Jedi isn't the best. But what Rian Johnson, had envisioned of, he literally, Kylo Ren says it, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. We need to stop hanging on to the same old shit because it's familiar, it's cool. That's why people get in these fucking...
But is there also an argument about the newer movies being, like, not good? Or the beginning not being good? Like the first ones? Or are they all bangers?
What do you mean?
Like the Disney era movies.
Yeah, they're like kind of all hated except for Rogue One by the general Star Wars fan base. But I think
I feel like anybody who is in an online community and comments on the things and stays active in the community, fuck them and their opinions fucking suck. Dude, because I love wrestling and shit, or like I see Star Wars shit, but I'm not big on it. Everybody's just bitching and moaning in the comments on everything that this didn't go the way I thought it would be. Well, then fucking run your own. So shut up, dude. Just take what you can get. Yeah. I'm really easily entertained, so I'm like, I'll take what I got. I'm not gonna sit here and complain and just be fucking miserable because the thing I like isn't. Then you don't like it, bro.
Go make a fan fucking version.
With writing music, though, that's why you can make the argument to leave things vague, because a lot of fucking people at the time, that was what ruined the Phantom Menace for them, is they kind of explained how the Force works with the midichlorians.
People didn't like the midichlorians.
Yeah, people didn't like that because their own headcanon was cooler. So that could be an argument against Genius like videos if you explain the lyrics, because whatever people relate to and what they think it means in their head is going to be more meaningful and impactful to them. And that's kind of a big problem that a lot of people had with the sequels. And as I said,
people nitpick the smallest shit.
Yeah.
I swear, in Dragon Ball.
I was just going to mention
in Dragon Ball, I just finished watching Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and all the newest movies and shit. And everybody online hated on Super. Goten and Trunks are so little and shit. They literally, in the new superhero movie, explain why they were small in that. Because they were like, oh yeah, Saiyans stay small for a while and then eventually just hit a big growth spurt because they're teenagers in the new movie. Everybody online was like, oh, they were such badasses at the end of Z, and then they're kids. Yeah, because the fucking opponents got stronger.
Right, it's naturally. Yeah. I was just in a live stream little, I guess debate, not I wasn't on it, but I was just in the chat with, debating with people. like One Piece versus Dragon Ball, and I don't know a lot about One Piece. I've watched some of it, and like my homie, B was real into it, and like he would tell me all about it. But like the thing is, bro, like people are making the claim with that they've gotten too far away from what it originally was. But like my opinion is like they've done such a decent job with it that I'm willing to accept the new like Super
I love
universe
Super,
as it is, and like the new Super 2 that like just got announced, they're like releasing a new one, so like they're saying that there's potentially going to be Super Saiyan 4 in there.
Yeah, because at the end of Super, they kind of like hinted that they're gonna make GT canon. I think they're gonna remake
and
it.
I fucks with that
Because we told Goku about Oob.
Hey, dude, when they introduced
And
the multiverse thing in
they could have.
Super, that's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. So, and then people are like, oh, they just simplify the characters and make them look more rounded and younger, like for their god forms, and give them different colored hair. That shit's whack.
Keep it simple,
like,
stupid.
Bro,
Yeah.
exactly.
People are so angry about the art
they
style
look-
and
they
this
look-
and that. It's like, do you draw this shit? They're saving time.
Well, and that's the
bro,
thing. Like,
resources.
there are like hella fan manga now of Dragon Ball that like people do like. There's like thousands of people that watch that shit, like readings of that shit, whatever, breakdowns of it, and it's cool. I've watched a couple of them, but like, just it's like you said, take what you can get with what the creators are giving you.
Yeah.
You know, simple as
I mean,
that.
yeah. Speaking about the art style shit, it's like we kind of talked about this a little with lyrics. It's just what is. You don't watch Dragon Ball Z for fucking realistic immersion. I don't watch this to be like, this is real. Like, this is so gritty and fucking real. It's like,
Hey, me though,
that is not the mentality you need to be going into it. So if it's cartoony, that's fine. If you're making dumb lyrics, it's like, that's, if it fits what you're doing, that's what you're fucking doing.
Or if you're watching wrestling, people make fun of me. It's fake. Yeah, so is everything else.
Right.
I go into it with a mindset, knowing it's dumb, fun. Dumb, fun, stupid, like that's why I enjoy it. So are you gonna tell me it's dumb and stupid? I know. I like it because of that.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, it can, like, the way that it comes off to me is like, people want to think that they spend their time so well, or like they make the most out of their time, and that's not a good use of yours. But like, that's not for them to say.
Exactly.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah, if you enjoy it, who gives a fuck? They probably watch whatever the fuck else.
Going off what you said, if you enjoy it, who gives a fuck? And if you don't enjoy it, who gives a fuck? And move on. Stop ranting online, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's no benefit to this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
Except
make
making yourself look like a dickhead.
You can make points. Sometimes though, they do impact the creators to make some sort of changes and be like, oh, fans aren't responding to this well.
Yeah.
But then there is obviously people go way too far.
Too far on this shit.
Yeah, and care too much about things. And I think there's room for it positively if that interests you. Because, okay, like, I'm into how films are made more. I've been getting into that and shit. And as I said, like, I was a fucking neckbeard fucking Star Wars fan, hating The Last Jedi for all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I get what dude was going for. I think from some just storytelling like direction, they made some missteps. But if those were corrected, The Last Jedi would definitely be one of the best Star Wars, or at least be the best sequel.
I just feel like if you got something negative to say, keep it to yourself or rant it to your boys. But like, I feel like the internet has become just a cesspool of people fucking dumping on each other, dumping on everything. People that are content are not commenting like, "Oh, this is awesome." Like, I'm not going and commenting on people's YouTube videos.
I try to make
it's fucking dope. But I do sometimes, but like,
just to keep
we're
it
warriors
positive.
of
yes,
vibe,
yes, we're the vibe warriors. Oh yeah.
Straight up, because like the world needs that with all the bullshit you're referring to.
Yeah, people just like to go and bitch and moan.
Well, because you're more likely to say something and feel urged to comment if it is negative. But it's like, did your mom never tell you have nothing good to say? Don't say anything.
Yeah, hell yeah, exactly.
It's like, fuck, dude. So we got a couple wrap up questions and then probably go to the after show. So
hit me with them.
yeah, I have a vague question to ask about tattoos. So I guess what's your favorite tattoo? What's the story behind it? A little something.
Well, all my tattoos on my arm are related to music. The two on my legs, my boy did when he was in apprenticeship. Yo, by the way, if this is coming out soon, my buddy Michael Dolak Posh got in a motorcycle accident. He's the one that I'm talking about, the tattoo on my legs. We'll link
GoFundMe.
Yeah, he's got a GoFundMe. That's what I'm trying to say. We're gonna link his GoFundMe.
Well, this is gonna be like episode 5, and we haven't put out one yet. So
well,
we can make
he's
this
gonna
2 if
be
he's
in
gonna
recovery for like 6 months, so he
okay.
can use the help. So that's what I want
I
to
was gonna
shout
say,
out the most.
I'll put this up to episode 2 even,
But-
because that would be...
No, it's a, yeah,
We'll get it. We'll get it.
yeah. I just want to use this platform to help him out if I can at all.
Yeah. My episode 2 as well.
But
Nice.
side tangent, favorite tattoo, probably this one. It's for Black Sails in the Sunset from AFI, which is like my favorite album ever. Sad story about it. There's these line birds that the fucking artist didn't think about. If you look at it this way, it looks like it says KKK. So people will be like, "Oh, why do you have KKK tattooed on you?" And I've been meaning to get a piece right here and like cover that up forever, and I just.
It's
But
not for
that's like my favorite
I
album.
mean, if you're not looking for it, though, it's like you don't really see it.
I know,
Yeah.
but I hate when I'm at like work or something and somebody's like, and I know I can tell
Is
what
that
they're
a
looking at.
slave ship?
And I'm like, yes, I'm Puerto Rican with KKK tattooed on me. Yeah.
I've been initiated.
the
What about the bleep tattoo?
bling tat, that was my first tat.
Yeah.
So that holds a special place.
How old were you?
I was 18. It was like a month after my 18th birthday. I remember I went after school with a friend. We were like in a class together in study hall in 7th hour, and we're like, we're just gonna do walk-ins. We're gonna go to a shop, and we did.
And I'm assuming that's the album that hit the hardest for you.
Hell yeah, the
Okay.
self-titled. They were already past it. They had they switched to the 6 arrows. I
Okay.
made sure to get the 5 arrow one because
Okay.
that self-titled and even the greatest hits. The greatest hits got the bonus tracks Not Now and Another Girl, Another Planet. Banger.
Bangers. Another Girl, Another Planet. I come to realize it's like a cover from something.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know
forget
that.
Who.
That makes sense because that song was the theme song for Travis's MTV show Meet the Barkers.
Okay.
And that's what they do on MTV a lot. They'll cover an old song.
I've seen a lot of YouTubers do that. They'll have covers of songs playing
Yeah.
instead.
Because like the Fantasy Factory theme song was a cover. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but a lot of those shows had like covers of old songs,
Okay.
like modernized. That makes sense. I didn't know that. That's cool to
Yeah.
know.
And then
That sounds like a.
what was the other one? Not Now.
Yeah, not
That's
that.
a banger.
That's a
bro.
banger
Yeah.
fucking song.
Yeah. That's like an underrated. That's like a hidden gem.
Yeah,
bro,
because
for
it's
real.
at the end of the greatest
Right.
hits and shit.
It's got a nice like music video to it too. like-
Yeah, the compilation of all
Yeah.
the videos. Yeah, I love
So
it.
then that leads me to my next question. I guess I already fucking know now, but so how comparable I guess then is Take Off Your Pants and Jacket to that album? Not very.
They're very. I love all
Okay.
Blink albums. Oh, I'm not big on the Matt Skiba era. There's
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
songs that are good, and their new edging. That sucked. I'm sorry. That
I
sucked.
didn't listen.
You don't.
Okay.
It fucking sucked. But
Yeah.
like, no, Animal of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and their self-titled are like
It's
on
like-
par.
Yeah.
Even the fucking the Mark, Tom, and Travis show live album. I'm not big on live albums. That's one of the 3 live albums that I fuck with heavy, just because of their jokes and shit.
Yes, the
Yeah.
only
They
live
got
album
humor
is,
like crazy. Yeah.
I still never even seen them live. I'm upset, but that goes into what I said an hour ago
Yeah,
on the
so-
ticket prices being fucked for rock music and shit
Yeah.
for this
Oh, yeah,
nostalgia
that
shit.
especially.
They were just around. It was like $1,000 for a
Exactly.
hit ticket. I'm not fucking.
I think they were with Turnstile, I think,
Yeah.
which is like another one of my favorite
Yeah, I
fucking
love
bands.
Turnstile, too.
So it's like, bro, still not worth it.
No.
Oh
No.
my god, like I listen to this shit just in the comfort of my
Yeah,
bed.
it sucks, but
I'll catch
where
the
I'm at.
fucking, I'll catch the YouTube replay.
low key, like Green Day when they were just in town. I really wanted to go to that, but it sold out quick, and then it was like too expensive. I watched the videos of it on YouTube, and that was. I mean, obviously it's not the same feeling, but that was
Yeah.
good enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around a bunch of Harley motherfuckers anyway. It's low key.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the question you have in here, Animal of the State or Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, you're going to
If
choose
you
one
could
of the
choose
2.
between those two,
Yeah, just those 2. Which one?
so get rid of your favorite album.
I'd keep Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
my actual favorite.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, same.
bro, the one I got put onto first was self-titled, so like that's like a special number 2 in my
Mhm.
heart. But like that, like to me, like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is like pop punk done correctly.
Yeah,
Like
I can
it's
see that.
like 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that the self-titled has like
emo vibes.
emo
bro.
and post-hardcore influence on
Yeah.
it for sure.
And it's more like boxcar races.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
shit,
Because
which
that's
is
like when
sick.
Tom was doing that, and he got into to Fugazi. Oh, he probably was already into Fugazi and all that shit. But like, yeah, you
he started to let that go.
come into it. I think that album's like more mature.
Yes.
I think Neighborhoods is really underrated too.
Oh,
that's like mature. I feel like that's like a good blend of it's mature, but they kind of also took a step back into more just like the pop punky.
You would have loved to see like another album tackling that sound.
Hell yeah, like the Dogs Eating Dogs EP.
Yeah,
that was like they were on it, bro.
Yeah.
They were on it, and then suddenly Tom leaves. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, he's gotta focus on researching UFOs.
Exactly.
And like,
UAPs.
And
I was not hyped on that ski, but I do not like Alkaline Trio, so I was like, bro. And then like, his voice wasn't unique enough to stand out. It was like y'all should just have Mark sing.
Right.
Yeah. He sounded similar to Mark. I feel like almost not similar, but like Tom's just got.
Tom's got a very unique
California voice.
They didn't have that dynamic.
No, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I don't know, like for me when California came out, it was like a time in my life where like I was super into Blink.
I do like California actually. I don't like 9 though.
Yeah, 9's
because like you say that I like San Francisco and Rabbit Hole. Those are good.
I like the singles off, and I loved 6'8". That was like
6'8's a fucking.
That is like
bro. That sounds like a fucking like old like 2004 Under Oath song. If they're only chasing safety.
That's what they should be doing if they're gonna keep. Unless they get Tom back, which I'm still.
They got Tom back.
Yeah,
you don't know that? Yeah.
I do not keep up with
Tom's back. That's what I'm talking. They got the new song Edging is with Tom.
Oh, is it?
It sucks.
Oh.
Thoughts on Tom fucking reissuing his Fender line?
I like him. I actually just bought a new fucking Fender like a month before he did, and I'm kind of salty. But at the same time, this might mean nothing to anyone. But Tom's
what
Fender.
configuration did you get?
I just got the triple single coil.
Okay.
And that's where I'm getting to. So you know guitar stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't like that his is the single humbucker. I feel
you
like
need a neck pickup.
I feel like if it's a Strat, it's not a Strat without the single. Then with the humbucker, it's more of a super Strat.
I
already got an Ibanez that's like Strat shape, but it's like sharper. So it's like that's my super Strat, and then my
I agree that
Fender is my Strat.
It straight up just gives you more like options, versatility, all that shit. So mine's like HSS, like. That's nice, bro.
I got mine's SSS, but then I got the Player Pro. So if I pull up the tone knob, it mixes the bridge and the top pickup, the bridge and the neck mix. So it's fire. So it gives me actually 7 configurations, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, what color?
I'll show you after.
Yeah,
it's like a pearl, so it's like white, but it's like sparkly, and then it's got like a red pickguard. It's fire.
Maple or rosewood?
Maple.
Maple.
Yeah,
cool, okay.
Yeah. That was like that had to be. I was stingy about it. Had to be maple because I got all these rosewood neck guitars. I was like, I want a maple one.
I like that. Okay. And then I guess just to get it in real quick, like what tuning do you like to play in?
I like just drop B.
Yeah.
In Sensor we play drop C sharp because that's what Saab wanted.
See, I play drop D like just like at home casually, and I'm like, oh, bro, like I'm listening to Sensor. I'm like, this might be a little different.
It's drop C sharp, but I'm thinking about for a future song to go up to drop D because I like playing like other band stuff, and it's annoying. I have an SG, but it's a piece of shit. That's in standard, and I switch that one between standard and D. Then I have my Fender in drop C sharp. And then I have my Ibanez, which used to be my main until I bought this Fender. And I'm thinking about putting that in like drop B permanently. So, because that was always in drop B.
That's the one with the white trim?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it.
Hell yeah. That's dope.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll never get rid of that guitar. I've had that every show I ever played was with that guitar.
Just made it through everything.
Everything, yeah. That was like when I got my first job at Hardee's, my first 2 paychecks, I bought that guitar from my cousin. Because he used to roommate with our brother, and I played it there, and I was like, I need this guitar. And I knew he was more of a bass player, so I asked him, like, hey, can I buy that? And he sold it to me for $200, and I've had it ever since. And, like, that's my baby.
Yeah, straight up. You got a name for it?
No, I never named it. I just didn't. My baby. I honestly, I haven't played it that much since I got my new one. I need to set her up.
Right.
I stole because I got like the nice DiMarzio strap locking one, and I switched my strap over, so it's like strapless now. It's sitting on my rack. I need to.
Needs a little love.
Yeah. Need new strings on there.
All right. So just little closing questions again. Try to wrap this up. Do beans belong in sugar?
Beans definitely. I got chili in the fridge that I just made from the other day.
All right.
Have you ever had Cincinnati chili? Probably not. Have you ever heard of the place Real Chili in Milwaukee?
No, I'm not.
Well, they call it like just Milwaukee chili, but it's essentially Cincinnati chili. There's a recipe online called the Marquette because it's on the Marquette campus. I whip that shit up. Meat, beans. It's got spaghetti noodles broken in half. The only time that's acceptable, breaking the spaghetti noodles, is in this chili. Maybe after we're done filming, I'll give you both a bowl. I got plenty, and it's gonna go bad in a couple days.
Best Spider-Man and why?
Movie?
Yeah. Or actor. Who's
Oh,
your
best
Spider-Man?
actor? Shit. The 90s Spider-Man voice actor? The cartoon? That's my Spider-Man, bro.
Fucking the dude.
I read Spider-Man comics. Like, I'm reading the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus right now. It's like 900 pages. When I read Spider-Man, I hear the 90s comics.
I just remember seeing
90s
this
cartoon
clip
voice.
from that fucking show, and I forget who it's to. I think it might be to like Craven. He's like, "I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth."
He gets extreme when he's
like
yelling.
ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
That's my Spider-Man for sure. If I had to pick a live-action movie, I would say that's hard. Probably Spider-Man 1. The OG, Tobey Maguire is probably my favorite. Or Homecoming, Far From Home. I like the one with all three of them in it, but that was nostalgia bait.
Yeah,
That's all it really was. It was good for sure. And I fucking cried in the theater.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's my shit, but like replayability type shit, I watched it
I
at
was thinking
home.
that
It
too,
wasn't
honestly.
like the same. It was like an event type shit.
Yeah. You want to ask your second to last question, and I'll ask the last,
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
second to last question we have on the list.
You get it. Oh, your favorite food?
Oh, not that one, but that one. we're
Oh,
My
saving
favorite food, shit. The first thing that came to my mind right when you said that, no thoughts, was nachos. So
Okay,
I'm gonna have
yeah.
to go with
That's
nachos.
what I
Like,
want. I want
some
like what
fire
is?
ass nachos, bro.
Looking at.
Hey, you ever go to Who's on 3rd downtown? Anybody watching? Get the blackened chicken nachos. That's shit. That's fire. It's like a big ass plate, like $13. You can feed like 6 people. With
Okay.
Their gas.
Sounds crazy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then band question. If you like either of these or have any like
He definitely.
Sum 41 or Newfound Glory?
Some 41. That's
Okay.
like
Okay.
you were asking influences earlier. They're a huge.
They're
one.
sick. Yeah.
Right before you got here, I just ripped, because I'm ripping all my CDs to my online collection. I just ripped Chuck onto my computer
Okay,
before
yeah.
you got here. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Final question: Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Ooh.
As a kid, I would have said NSYNC
Mm.
because I fucked with them heavy when I was a kid. But as a grown adult musician, Backstreet Boys.
Jeez.
Because they have a lot more like better deep cuts. Like NSYNC is just fucking bullshit for
Yeah.
most of their shit.
Yes,
And
it
then
is.
like later on, Backstreet Boys, they played instruments and shit. Like they actually are musicians. So I'm not really gonna. I like all the OG singles when they come
Yeah.
on. They're corny, but if I had to pick one that's like actually better, definitely Backstreet Boys.
All right.
All right. Well, that'll be it for interview with Danny P. You want to shout anything out real quick? Obviously.
I got Sensor, SENSOR period on every streaming thing. Lesser Demon on every streaming thing, and we didn't mention it at all. I don't promote it. I don't tell anybody, but I drop lo-fi beats under the name Dan Mondo.
Ooh.
I'm thinking about I've been making drum and bass, and that's just like on Dan Mondo. I might just change the name to just Mondo. That's in my brain. That's kind of going to be my dumping ground for everything like that. I just don't have a project for it. I don't care about the genre at all. Like I said, I'm not even going to promote it. I'm just
Like
putting
that.
it out for myself because
Yeah. Well, now
games are. I look at writing music like I'm playing a video game. Essentially, it's fun.
It's a fun hobby to do. Socials and shit.
Socials. I'm Dan Miller-Perez on Instagram. That's the only one that matters. Sensor MKE on Instagram. Lesser Demon Music. Support Michael's GoFundMe.
I'll have that link in the comments.
That link will be in the
Description.
comments.
Of both.
You fucking support Michael's band. Dan has tattoo endeavors too. Vacant Voice and Michael Dolak Coach. Fucking, I don't even know where he's tattooing this day, but that's my boy. I hope he fucking heals up perfect.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. You get more of Dan talking about random bullshit in the after show. This has been the Many Parallels. Follow us at Many Parallels on X.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't ever use Twitter ever.
Well,
X.
Fucking make jokes about that.
Go
on the
ahead and
show,
Z
but-
at him.
Yeah, Z at us, whatever. Z at us, favorite part, comment, like on whatever the fuck you watching this on. Share it with people. Thank you. Goodbye.